Hi, my name is Andrada, and I'm going to be talking about wildfire destruction. So, as a group, we originally decided to focus on how the government should act in protecting and tackling climate change. And to do this, they must take many preventative and protective measures in the form of policies. So, I decided to focus on wildfire destruction because it is a major issue in California. In 2019 alone, there were over 7,800 wildfires. So, I'm advocating for policies that will take preventative measures to preserve our environment. To do this, I will discuss the detrimental effects of the wildfires. And something to keep in mind is that the government cannot, quote unquote, prevent the fires, but government action can be taken to mitigate the consequences of them. And so some of the causes of wildfires are human activity in some cases, and wildfires are more likely to happen under conditions of drought and heat, which is more prominent around fall. And they can easily spread across acres of land through winds, more specifically the Santa Ana winds. And they can affect people by burning down their homes and spreading ashes that can cause respiratory illnesses. Meanwhile, forestation is a natural resource that harvests products such as wood, paper, latex, and fruits. When wildfires burn down many trees, they are unable to supply these products. Therefore, there's an imbalance between supply and demand, as there is a high demand for them in the consumer industry, but there are not enough trees and plants to produce them. In this aspect, it can affect our economy as well. Wildfires create ashes, which can affect the watersheds by causing contamination, and as a result, the water quality can diminish. And so these are just some of the things that the government should do to take preventative measures. For one, they can expand the budget. About 1 year ago, Governor Newsom originally wanted $2 billion reserved for wildfire protection. He wanted enough money to supply enough firefighters and to rebuild the homes that were destroyed. But apparently that was not enough because a large portion went to providing relief for the communities that were affected. And a major issue with this action is that it could cut the budget in other areas like social services, but just to avoid doing that, the government can increase insurance rates in those areas. That way there will be enough money to protect homeowners and rebuild their homes. Expanding the budget can also allow more opportunities for research. In one article, FireX claims that more research needs to be done to study the toxic pollutants released by wildfires. By investing more money into wildfire research, it would educate the government so they can implement more advanced precautions. Another thing the government can do is force the homes in those areas to be built out of fire-resistant materials such as cement, brick, or stone. One article mentioned that burning homes caused by wildfires contributed to its spread. As the houses get completely destroyed, they create additional costs in repair as well. But by building them in fire-resistant material, it would preserve the houses and decrease the likelihood of the wildfire spreading across acres of land. Another thing the government can do is protect forest restoration. One article mentioned that one way to resolve deforestation is to allow the forests to regenerate over time. This would improve both forest and water quality. The government can make a contribution by simply preventing human activity from interfering with the process, as its natural regeneration takes a very long time. The last bullet point ties into the third one, where the government can help prevent that human interference by implementing programs in schools to educate the public. They can continue to teach others about the importance of reduce, reuse, and recycle. That way, it can reduce the increased demand for products that are harvested from trees, like I mentioned earlier, which are wood, paper products, latex, and fruit. Essentially, it just teaches the importance of being mindful of product consumption. And one major thing that programs can teach as well about fires is that they release tons of carbon dioxide emissions. And although we cannot control that aspect of it, we can, however, teach others how to reduce their carbon footprint so that it does not contribute to the overall total of carbon emissions in California. Basically, the main goal in this aspect is to teach others about how they can reduce their waste so that the forests can regenerate on their own without the super high demand for their products. And so, like I said earlier, the government cannot quote unquote prevent fires, but I hope that this information is taken into account so that their actions can mitigate the consequences of wildfires. And that concludes my presentation.